Both my girlfriend and I were bubbling with excitement as we prepared to move in together. It marked our first shared space, and our expectations were soaring. The memory of stepping foot inside the apartment for the first time is etched in my mind. Now, I've never been one to entertain thoughts of the supernatural, ghosts, energies, spirits, until the past year spent in that apartment. The shift occurred from the moment I opened the door to the second-floor unit, ascended the steps, and turned onto the landing. At the top of the second flight, an abrupt lightheadedness enveloped me, the air seemingly thinner yet heavier simultaneously. It was an uncomfortable sensation, particularly for someone familiar with anxiety. This, however, was a different beast. It wasn't the normal anxiety, but a pervasive feeling of wrongness, a discomfort that haunted me unlike anything before. In the initial weeks of living there, my unease heightened. Anxious energy pulsed through me, urging me to leave. Oddly, even the act of hanging a mirror in the living room stirred an undeniable fear of seeing something unwelcome reflected in it. Foul smells and unsettling sounds pervaded the space, leaving me drained every time I crossed the threshold. From day one, the energy felt off, setting a disconcerting tone. My girlfriend and I, who had never experienced animosity before, found ourselves caught in constant discord. It felt like a surreal version of ourselves. Peripheral movements caught our attention, and we often heard what seemed like another couple arguing through our vents. There's more to the story, but what I'm really curious about is whether anyone else has gone through a similar experience. I'm still in the process of digesting everything, having moved out just over a month ago. Please subscribe and give me a like. This happened a few years back, and it feels like the right time to finally share it. At the time, I was in a long-term relationship with my ex-wife, and we resided in the basement of a small apartment she owned. One evening, she had gone to take her cousin home, leaving me alone with her sleeping son in the living room. Suddenly, a cold chill ran down my spine, and from the bedroom, I heard a voice urging, "Come here now." Initially dismissing it as potentially coming from outside or another person in the building, I shrugged it off. Then, a woman's voice called my name, assuring me it was okay and that she wouldn't hurt me. It sent shivers down my spine, prompting me to retreat to the porch, leaving the door ajar so I could hear her son if he woke up. In hindsight, not my finest moment, but when my girlfriend returned, I shared the experience with her. To my surprise, she mentioned having heard voices before and assured me it was fine. In another incident, we were all asleep, and her son woke up crying. As I started to get up to prepare a bottle for him, she appeared by his crib, telling me not to worry and that she had it covered. I returned to bed, assuming everything was fine, only to later realize she couldn't have been in two places at once. The last notable occurrence took place 2 months before our wedding, still in the same building. This time, her younger sister stayed the night. While discussing ghosts, she recounted her own paranormal experiences. As I was shaving, she suddenly screamed, claiming there was someone right behind me. Though I couldn't see anything, the terror on her face convinced me. When we returned to the bedroom, my girlfriend's CD collection had shifted, with one particular CD, Invisible Man by 98 Degrees, pushed out as if it wanted to be noticed. All of these eerie events unfolded in 1999. I have a few more stories, but I wanted to share these first. Please subscribe and give me a like. My boyfriend recently moved in as we're expecting a baby in May. Both of us have been sensitive to paranormal occurrences throughout our lives, having lived in haunted houses and experienced unexplained phenomena. However, this time feels different. I've lived in this apartment for 3 years and, aside from enduring troublesome neighbors for 2 of those years, felt nothing but peace. In previous homes, I could often sense a presence, as if someone were there. As far-fetched as it sounds, I consider myself somewhat clairvoyant, having correctly predicted several events in my life. With Halloween approaching, things in the house are starting to shift. I'm unsure if it's due to the thinning veil, my birthday arriving, or the entity that has been following my boyfriend throughout his entire life finding its way into our home. Over the past 3 days, there have been peculiar instances. The deodorant in my clear work bag physically lifted and dropped, despite the bag remaining undisturbed for the past 4 days. Silverware in the dish rack was heard clinking together, and a bottle of cleaning solution placed on top of the refrigerator flew to the ground as my boyfriend entered the kitchen. On the Thursday before Halloween, as I sat on my porch in front of the closed door, I heard footsteps shuffle up behind me. Despite checking for kids in the vicinity, the streets were empty, and there was no room for someone to sneak behind me. Just an hour before posting this, several loud knocks were heard. While I am willing to explain some of these occurrences with logic, given my reactive dogs and cats, my boyfriend believes he brought something or someone with him when he moved in. If so, I don't think it's anything malicious. Considering it's my birthday and so close to Halloween, I'm open to the idea that it might be my father, who passed when I was 7, wishing me a happy birthday. Alternatively, it could just be pregnancy brain making us a little crazy during this time of year. What do you think?